So, of course, this is one of those garage matches where both teams are kind of out for blood to prove that their decisions to leave X team to join the other team was a better decision. And that goes both ways. And Parabellum's players in the interview spoke about the vibes being really, really high in that team. And I think when you're having fun, it also often breeds creativity, and creativity breeds good gameplay. So I do like what Parabellum is doing ever since we saw them in that relegation match, which of course was the Parabellum Orc against the XSET Orc. And operator bands are actually just flying by. Thatcher first, Nomad to follow second. Any guesses on the third, Parker?
I'm going to say that we're going to see some
boring.
uncreative bands. Mira. Oh!
I told you!
I was
it's
wrong.
Parabellum makes it, baby. We're going to get creative in this one. Frost being banned out is extremely uncommon?
Extremely
rare.
uncommon.
Extremely rare.
Well, rare and uncommon.
I guess it's
Is
both
it gonna be
depending on how
Valkyrie?
you... Yeah. Mira, you were right the first time.
So I called one of them. The Frost ban is fascinating to me. Frost sees quite a lot of play on this map.
Yes.
Especially when teams are defending bar gaming, Nick. That is where you tend to see the most Frost. And not going to be available, obviously, counterbanned, potentially counterbanned by Parabellum, as you said. They didn't want to spice it up. No, it was XSET who banned it.
It was exit.
So why did you say that Parabellum made it spicy?
I said this is Parabellum exit. It's gonna get spicy.
Oh, I thought you said Parabellum makes... See? My ears.
It's alright. It's alright.
I was like, wait.
Maybe I did say that, but I didn't realize. I don't think
Go
I
to the
did, but
tape.
either way,
Review
go
the
watch
footage.
it back. Give us a replay.
Review the footage.
We will. We'll be willing to get back to you guys. If I did mess up, a Parker just isn't paying attention to what I'm saying.
I rarely do, but I will pay attention to this. You are the expert, not me.
Okay.
So,
Break it
what
down.
does a Frost ban mean for this map, Nick?
I mean, it means she can't be played on defense. Obviously, that's pretty much what it indicates when it's operator banned.
All
But
right, perfect. Let's go.
But I think what can happen with her not being played is that some more aggressive work from the attackers can be seen, because you don't have to worry about looking down at your feet to shoot down that frost trap when you jump in a window. Now, I don't necessarily think that this will be the case. I think it's more of a fact that Parabellum plays this operator to great effect, and Frost also has a deployable shield, so that's going to be one less shield on the defensive side, unless, of course, you pick up the Warden, the Ella, the Alibi, something else to support it. Wimpy currently on the Alibi might actually kind of show us that that might just be how they're going to supplement that shield. Also Wimpy,
hello?
easy kill,
Spirits?
easy win.
I think there's one thing to keep in mind of with Wimpy is, yes, he was talked about, he's one of the top 5 highest rated players right now in the North American League, but he is also playing for a spot in the NAL. The team was very transparent by saying, hey, when Blaz shows up, we are getting rid of Wimpy.
Yep, and it might sound harsh, but that's just how it is when you're, important player, buyouts, visas, all those things. Blast from Europe is intended to be imported onto Parabellum in the NAL. Wimpy is only here as a stand-in player until that happens, but as you said, Wimpy can now prove himself right to every other team in the North American League, or for Parabellum themselves, if they want to kick a different player to keep Wimpy instead. So, some friendly competition, if you will.
Absolutely correct. Bad day for Finka continues. There seems to be a Finka curse today, Nick, where when you play this operator, you just have a really rough go of it, and it was Spirits playing on that Finka who got cut down as he was rappelling towards balcony.
I think it's time that Finka players start getting a taste of their own medicine and just getting annihilated in the server.
Yeah, I get that you don't like the LMGs, Nick. Okay?
I don't.
I completely understand your perspective.
Do you understand it, Parker? How often do you die to LMGs in silver?
All right. Let's talk about the match, Nick.
Sure. You talk. I'll watch.
That is actually how it happened most of the time. Now that you're retired, that is exactly correct, since you're not actively competing.
That is correct.
All you do is watch.
All I do is watch.
You don't play anymore.
Yogg is playing, though. So is Parabellum, and so is XSET. And right now, it's been a bit of a slow round, besides that opening kill from Wimpy. But now it's going to start speeding up again towards the tail end of it. And it's Gomez to find Wimpy on that vertical play from that floor being opened up.
This is a kitchen and dining defense for those of you that are unaware of the location. And guess what? There are 2 players from Parabellum in the basement. A rotate from Eska gets spotted and called out by XSET, but there's no capitalization on that as Eska's able to get away. Gomez picks up kill number 2, this time on the Penguin. And, well, There goes an alibi clone. That's not the real deal, Gomez, but you can light it up. XSET, after surrendering that first pick, are just clobbering Parabellum, leaving Creators in a 1v4 with Diffuser at the halfway mark. Kino successfully gets it planted, and now the timer starts. Creators has been flashed out, and he is really just knocking on heaven's door. Diaz with the very final kill, and XSET take round number 1.
That's going to be feeling really good for XSET, seeing as they lost to an kill early on with Spirits getting shut down by Wimpy. And ever since that happened, really easy sailing for them. Parabellum, they have this strategy of extending up above into like master bedroom, office, etc. and then just falling back as time kind of dwindled down. But with only 50 seconds left, XSET made quick work of the vertical play. They found 2 kills on the side of Gomez, and then PB tried to aggress back into XSET on those Solarium stairs inside of West Main, and it didn't work out. And that means we're going to a new bomb site location inside of kitchen. This is not kitchen anymore. Bar games room instead is where we're going to be going. And this is where this frost ban will come into play because it has been banned out. So what do you supplement with? You don't have a single shield right now, which is very atypical for this defense. Normally we see 2 shields, one on top of blue stairs, one on chimney where Eska is standing right now. Instead, none. We can see bulletproof, barbed wire, impact grenade C4s, and the beep boops, but not a shield.
Love beep boops. Love that you call them beep boops.
Beep boops.
Only 2 of the attacker repicks being used. No Yana will be available. It'll be a Twitch instead, and Zofia for Diaz will be the operator of choice. Lots of explosives, 2 sets of grenades, the explosives as well from the lifeline of Diaz. Can we see Finka actually do something in this round? Well, that is going to be the question that Spirits will need to answer. Spirits was one of the best performers when he was on Parabellum, and when he stepped off of the roster, there were a lot of questions that were asked about the potential that the team would have without him, and guess what? Wimpy has stepped up. Eska has been as reliable as ever. This team has weapons, and then they have Blaz coming as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, like myself included, were very saddened to see Parabellum changing a bit of a roster. Because when you make it from CL into the relegation, into the NAL, any Pro League for that matter, I think it's always beautiful to see just how good that roster matches up 1-to-1 against other actual Pro League teams. And sure, Parabellum's core is still the same, but we don't see the exact situation. And in the introduction player interview or content piece, we also did see the members of Parabellum saying that the playstyle will change a bit with the roster change, but we're still going to be aggressive, we're still going to be creative, and the vibes are better than ever. Opening kill now, Spirits, he finds his footing in this match. That's an aggressive entry with the LMG, and maybe the Frostban actually is already working out as Spirits finds a second.
That's 2 kills for Spirits, and a third is on the board, but he gets out-dueled, of course, by a UMP. That gun is so ferocious that it usually wins most engagements that it's in. So Finka at least having some significant impact on this round. Using the Adrenal Surge right before dying, and then also taking down 2 players. Parabellum had a good start back in round number 1. Round number 2, it has caught them a little bit flat-footed, as XSET have taken that early advantage.
Kino's actually in on site without Diffuser, so can't just stop planting. Even with Diffuser in hand, I think that actually there's no Parabellum even near the bomb site, so what exactly is happening? Penguin runs into Library. That's a desperate play I've ever seen when he gets shut down immediately.
XSET have all the confidence in the world, but there is Kino, as you said, inside of the bomb site. He gets taken down by Eska. A stun will also go out, and Eska can't do anything about it, but Diaz knows that somebody is nearby. The second one will blow up too. That's good information and lets them know that there is a player lurking near that mudroom, leaving Creators all on his lonesome to defend up top. But Eska joins him side by side. Gomez takes down Eska. Creators are still very much in this. It's a 1v2. XSET with their 2 nice new shiny players. Yaga getting the diffuser planted, but falls off as Creators drops. That will be sound that is heard around the world. But Creators doesn't know exactly which avenue he wants to take. Diaz coverage is perfect right now. Ooh. A nice shot from Creators as the diffuser does get planted. Time for him to get back to the bomb site, make some noise, and maybe distract Yaga, but the Yog Dog gets the final kill, and XSET's up 2-0.
Wow. I will say Creators really feeling out there, knifing the barbed wire, throwing impact grenades, hitting a nice headshot, and then just kind of getting those trick shots in there. Doesn't find the round, of course, but it was a nice try indeed. A 1v2, kind of post-plant situation. I know the bomb wasn't down just yet, but having to retake your own bomb site after having to defend at the beginning is never a good look for a defender because it's so difficult with those few entryways, and attackers can usually just guess where it will be coming from. Not much information is needed, and honestly, with how that round played out, I don't blame Parabellum for going directly back towards the bomb site, this time with a shield that they can put top blue to fortify that position, but also just everything really went wrong for them, right? Spirits jumped in on the office balcony, got 2 kills immediately, then traded back, sure enough, by Eska, but the opening of how that round began was just not the way Parabellum wanted to go.
Absolutely correct. And with that, Parabellum are going to roll the die on the same bomb site again, and I'm sure that they'll have some small, minor adjustments, but surrendering those first 2 picks to Spirits, who swung in so wildly, is likely not in the cards for Parabellum.
You know what they changed? They got 3 bulletproof cameras now. Wimpy, Eska, and Kool-Aid all brought it out, so information seems to be what Parabellum thinks that they're missing, and with 3 bulletproof cameras probably being put in very different positions, they will now gain that information back for this round.
Also, that deployable shield, as you talked about in the previous round, there were no deployable shields, as you said. This time they have 1 being brought by Penguin on the smoke. So, and the deployable shield is, of course, guarding Eska at the top of those library stairs, which is a very common spot for them to be.
Yep, it's exactly the way we would expect that shield to be, or chimney. But creators inside library played there earlier on as well, and last time once the flashbangs came flying, he jumped down the hatch very swiftly. He has magnets and 2 ADSs, and he'll recharge more magnets as time progresses, which means, well, if XSET aren't here in full force, they won't have enough pressure. The 3 flashbangs and 2 grenades between Yogg and Kino is not actually enough to clear out this position with the Arunicate on this window as well. And Wimpy ready for Spirits in case he wants to jump in this window on his balcony again.
And we know from the silhouettes that there is a player in that area, but Wimpy will have to guard multiple windows. First kill comes out for XSET. That's the Nook down below. Gomez's 4th kill to his name. Silences Penguin. So the smokes are all gone. No toxic canisters available for Parabellum. That is some stall potential. That is just not available and will not be. That's a particularly damning operator to lose first.
It is. It's one of the arguably worst defenders in the entire game you can lose in the very beginning because the toxic babes get better with time as it goes on. And Spirit's playing more passive this time. Second nade now goes out. Still has the gun 6 for explosive economy, but will have to fight his way into the window against Wimpy as he's still sticking up above.
Oh,
that's so
just
close.
Misses out on it, but there's a number of angles that he has to watch. Lest he be engaged from an area that he's not looking on. Oh, Spirits is just absolutely unstoppable at the moment as Gomez picks up his 2nd kill as well. Parabellum are not winning any of these duels. Diaz in on it too.
And then he goes,
Almost everybody from XSET is in on the fun. The only player looking for their very first kill is Kino on the side of Parabellum. It's both Penguin and Kool-Aid who have yet to really show up. There was some skepticism about this XSET roster, Nick, but they obviously know what they're doing as it's a flawless round. Kino gets his very first kill of the game, and it's 3-0 for XSET so far on attack on Chalet.
So, interesting thing to note is that on the first bar attack on that second round, it's Spirits aggressively jumping in off his balcony, finding 2 kills. Then we go bar again, and XSET actually, with a nice adaptation, did the complete opposite. The only thing that went the same way is that Yogg and Kino went on to the library balcony, cleared out creators from the corner, forced him to drop down the hatch onto side, and while that was happening, the rest of XSET were doing nothing. It was Spirits sitting outside office balcony, holding an angle. Diaz on piano window, holding an angle, just waiting for Parabellum to make the first move, and it made them confused as to where the members of XSET were. Then, at the same time, Spirits jumps in office balcony, finds the opening. Shortly after, Diaz jumps in that piano window in towards the Ivy hallway, we call it in competitive play. It's basically the window to that top blue stairs where that shield was, and then helped Spirits clear out the position of Eska on the shield itself. And then the entire round just opens up, and we see creators, last man standing on the bomb side, who couldn't really do much. And yet, they had 3 bulletproof cameras. They had all the information in the world, but nobody alive to use it. And that does not bode very well at all. Now we see a slightly different change, because no, we don't have 3 bulletproof cameras anymore. We have 3 deployable shields as we're on this basement defense. A very passive setup for Parabellum. Not looking to get too aggressive by the looks of it, but they do have creators and Wimpy roaming up above for now.
Thornwatch, Nick.
Woo!
Thornwatch coming out
Seeing more and more of her, actually.
all of the Razor Blooms have been thrown down now. Use your expertise. What are the ways that teams have typically employed this Irish defender?
So there's
Since we've seen her debut in the NAL.
two ways, right? One is to use it almost like any other trap, like an like Grismot mine, is for information, right? When you set off the Razor Bloom, it goes like chick, chung, 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 pow, and pow says Gomez. Wimpy's off the ball, but the gadget lives on. And the second way to use Thorn is usually if you rappel in a window or jump in a window, almost like a frost trap. Yes, it gives you information, but also it forces the attacker to just sprint away in desperation to keep his life intact. And when you're running, you cannot shoot back, so you can then swing and take the gunfight. But normally, you know, the Thorn, it is just for information gain with a great gun and a shield.
Normally you want the Thorn to live a little bit longer, obviously.
Yeah, normally you want to keep every operator alive if possible, but sometimes it doesn't go that way. And sometimes Wimpy gets the opening kill, and sometimes Wimpy gets opening killed.
Wimpy, as we said, is one of the highest rated players in the NAL, and he's had a very disappointing start here for Parabellum, but the whole team has had some struggles. Only 5 kills through these 4 active rounds so far. That is not where you want to be. That's less than Gomez has. That's less than almost any other player on XSET combined, except for Kino, who was only a single kill on that hard support duty. Tough nut to crack on this downstairs defense for a lot of teams, especially if there's no Thatcher or Maverick being brought. But as you can see from the Parabellum lineup, the only real denial they have to work with is that Kaid with the Electroclaw. As long as you can get out of, or get the Electroclaw out of the equation, you've got clear passage in. It also means that because there's no mute on the board and because there's no bandit being brought, that you've only got 2 walls that you can fully electrify.
No, you're absolutely right. We see here PP trying to play a refight game, but one person is running, one person is fighting. That's not going to work out well. But Eska on his cam! What is happening? York finds a second, leaving just one player left alive on side. It's Kool-Aid, but even he gets shut down as well. XSET are on all cylinders right now.
There's 11 rounds in a row for XSET right now. 11 rounds in a row after they dismantled the Sonics 7-0 yesterday. And then today have now taken 4. Parabellum is just being ground down to dust. And on Chalet, a map that does seem quite happy for the attackers on a lot of occasions. So it's pretty normal that XSET is doing all right. But
they're doing really good.
The big but, Nick,
okay,
is that Parabellum, as was stated, are on a 7-game winning streak on this map. They have not ever lost at a top level of competition, as was pointed out by Jesse on the desk. And they have not been able to pick up a single round yet. They haven't blown their time out, but there have been less than spirited efforts from a number of these players. That blue defense in particular is just so puzzling, so head-scratchingly bizarre that I don't even, what do you even say about that when you watch that happen? Because there's just, Eska goes back onto his cam after he gets pushed on the stairs and then sees his teammate. It's perplexing.
Penguin ran backwards and Eska went upwards to take the gunfight, so obviously like miscommunication, or at the very least maybe a lack of communication on what the goal was there. Because if they had fought the blue stairs together, it looked actually quite good for them. And then once Eska got the trade, and as you mentioned, he went on to his yokai drone, and then he died for nothing right afterwards. So that could have been as easily explained as a fat finger. You accidentally clicked the wrong key on the keyboard, or someone said, they're planting. Someone stopped the plant. And then, of course, Eska follows the call. Kool-Aid gets injured, but whee, falls down the hatch. I want to say to safety, but that might not be the case because Yogg is in the big window, and one grenade will take him out, or just a quick vault in aggressively from Yogg, having so much confidence right now because of the scoreline being 4-0. And it continues the same trend because XSET are ripping through Parabellum so swiftly.
Well, this is a funeral right now for Parabellum. As XSET are in a 4v2 with 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time and plenty of patience on their side as well if they want to use it. But this has been a very go-for-the-throat type of deal. Crater's droned out, and on the hunt is Gomez. And there you go. Multiple drones going on. And Craters takes out Yaga, but now it's all on the shoulders
1 minute
of Eska.
round.
And oh, my goodness. Gomez
1 minute.
Also taken out. We are breaking land speed records here. What do you even say at this point? 5-0 for XSET, 12 rounds in a row.
So this might be a bit of a stretch because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It's Shelly attacks, etc. But you mentioned, Parker, last game XSET played was a 7-0 against Sonics. Now they're 5-0.
I do believe I said that, yes.
When was the last time we've seen a 7-0 back-to-back in a competitive Tier 1 level? Across even all regions for that matter. Like, this is so rare to see this kind of domination in like this era of seeds because every team, every player is so capable and so good. I mean, we all guessed Parabellum to win, and XSET's up 5-0. So it also speaks to the situation of NAL that with the roster changes, the attacker repick, with the meta changes, the new operator being played of Thorn, we truly just do not know just yet how these teams will match up because they keep surprising us each and every single day.
Really just a fascinating set of games for XSET, whose sole victory in the season came yesterday over the Sonics, and they are cruising to another victory today. Parabellum must be quite demoralized. Penguin and Kool-Aid still searching for their very first kills. It doesn't even matter that Kino's only got one kill because you've just got Gomez and you've got Yaga just frying everybody on the entries here, giving so much space for the rest of XSET. Even in terms of just objective play, also hasn't been very strong for XSET, but when you're having, like what we just saw, a 1-minute round, you don't have a lot of time to get the diffuser down.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about this matchup is that both teams came in hot. Parabellum beat Dark Zero 7-4 in Villa, looking really good. XSET, they beat a very vulnerable Sonic 7-0 in Oregon, looking extremely good, especially Kino himself, going 15-2 with the highest rating of NAL so far, like a 2.52 or something like that. Very, very, like, ridiculously high rating. And then this happens, and it's like only one team looks hot, but statistically, Parabellum, they look like they can fight back, but they can't. Because Yogg, every single round, wins the opening engagement. And now, with the Finca boost, the adrenaline surges, he will get his health back before the round is over. Once again, the opening kill goes to XSET.
Creators could have had a dance to the death with one of the players from XSET who looked like they were in the main lobby. Gomez has his eyes set on that dining portion of the map. Down goes Diaz to Penguin. Penguin's very first kill. And now Kool-Aid's also broken it, but Wimpy gets flushed out, and now Creators is dead too. So the two players who just broke their streak of not having a kill will need to get an awful lot more. Well, they will need to cumulatively ace, or I suppose co-ace.
Yeah, especially.
I don't think cumulative is the correct word there, but I'm struggling to find the word that I wanted to use. Either way.
If they combine them, is that what you said?
A combined ace,
Combined ace between two players.
Combination ace.
Combination ace. We got synergy and combination aces.
That is correct. We're just inventing things on the fly here, just as XSET is inventing a new term for punishment that we will need to figure out.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm curious what he has to hear what that word.
That's a real. What happens when you get absolutely smoked in back-to-back matches? Yeah, that was you had a real XSET. You know,
had a real XSET.
They're indeed repping the set. 45 seconds left, and XSET are just getting themselves into position. They have the luxury of time, and they are using it very effectively as they wait. Penguin with shotgun in hand doing some site remodeling. He's deep inside of Wine. Kool-Aid is there with him too. Both of these players have been kind of boxed out from the rest of the bomb site. But because of that blue tunnel being free for the moment, Penguin can roam on over in that position, and that's where he is. But he gets blown up by a nade, tossed out by Spirits, and it's a single player left for a flawless half on XSET's side of things. Kino trudges on in. They've isolated Kool-Aid in the corner. Yaga taking damage, and it's Kino to pick up his second kill. Good God, what are we witnessing? 6 in a row for XSET.
So we just saw a game between TSM and SSG go to max over, or almost max. He's went to overtime, right? 8-6. And I think XSET are basically saying, you know what? We know that sometimes, Pro League days can go on for a while. We don't want teams to wait too long for that game to come around with that slow beginning. We're going to go super fast, catch back up just to that production level speed. And right now, so far, is exactly what is happening. Now the question comes. Will XSET be as good on their defense as they have been on their attacks? And you can also flip this question and say, will Parabellum be as bad on their attacks as they were on their defense? And with that, we have a question. Northern imports or Southern imports? Parabellum or XSET? And this question has kind of been answered by the match itself, if you will. But even the fans, too, said Southern, 55 to 45%.
How can you even tell the difference between those two colors, by the way?
Well, you can if you're not colorblind, Parker, but I do agree it's rather difficult.
So, thank you, though.
It is a little bit difficult, but I could see that. Also, there's a literal number that tells you in white on red text or red background color, 55 to 45, so you could just read that out. That's the case.
It was a joke.
Sure.
Oh my god, it was a joke.
We call you an angry beaver here at the NAL here in LA, Parker, and there's a reason for that.
Nobody calls me an angry beaver.
I literally call you that in the hallway like before this game.
Yeah, you sang it one time, Nick.
It'll become we very soon, trust. I'll make that a thing. Angry Beaver Parker.
I'd prefer that it did not become a thing.
We'll see. I cannot choose what people want to say out loud, and it is legal fully and within their right to say that thing, because it's not a mean thing.
Yeah.
It's an animal. You call me Pingu. We have Penguin in the server right now.
How does it feel? Is he like your protege?
I feel like it's extremely weird sitting in a room and people go Penguin, Penguin, Penguin. I'm like, that's like, you're not talking to me, but you're still saying like most of my name. So it's a bit odd. But I'm really happy to see a fellow bird in the Pro League. And of course, also seeing young talent come to the scene. Very happy about that one.
Well, we are fraudsters. We are Lamicki casters, Lamicki analysts, as the Reddit would like to say, and they call NA farmers region on XSET side. And well, they certainly are farming all of these points because XSET is putting in such a clinic over the last 24 hours. It hasn't even been 24 hours since their victory over the Sonics.
But now we gotta see if they can muster this round victory because they're playing rather passive on the basement bomb side, and the walls and hedges being opened up right now by PB. The timing there almost favoring Penguin himself, but not yet. We still see Spirits with that single impact in his pocket that could be paying off later on in the round if there's a soft wall inside or a hatch to drop down. PB are waiting for a swing, and XSET are not granting it to them for free.
This is really lethargic pacing right now by Parabellum. I don't even know how much of this is still just discovery, but they're in. Kool-Aid is in, and the guns are hitting their marks. Goodness gracious. Malusi Gadget goes off. That's the Banshee to ring on out. XSET will need to retake against the 5 players. Make that still 5. First kill comes in from Yaga. Parabellum looking mighty fine right now as they get the diffuser down, but Yaga has something to say about this 11-1, and he just seems to be leveling up. He's going to need an ace clutch right now, and he's not going to get it done. Parabellum finally break the streak. Even if it is overall a very deflating match for them, it's still XSET in control, still on match point, but Parabellum gets on the board.
There we go. Their streak is denied, and the 7-0 we will not see.
You know what streak continues, though?
What streak continues?
The attacker streak. The attackers have won all 7 rounds of this matchup so far, Nick. And
got me there.
If you're a Parabellum fan, you're crossing your fingers, you're crossing your toes, you're crossing your legs, your arms. You're crossing it.
But if you're crossing things, you also make an X.
For XSET.
For XSET.
Represent.
So there's no way to cross your fingers for Parabellum without also repping the set at the same time. That means Parabellum, they gotta do this on their own, Parker. We can't help them too much in this case.
What a comeback has this been for XSET as an organization as well, Nick. That old XSET roster always struggled, always competed towards the bottom of the NA League. And when they came back into the NAL as the 10th team during the offseason, they completely reinvented themselves. They picked up a heap of Brazilians. And Bodega, their coach, Gomez, Diaz, and Kino on the active roster, also Brazilians. Their assistant coach, as far as I'm aware, is Brazilian too. They picked up Spirits from Canada, and then Yaga from good old US of A. And this roster took some time to get better. They didn't have the best first 2 games, but they certainly seem to have learned from it. And as a team like Parabellum was referred to by, I believe it was Jacob on the broadcast, said they're a solidly middle-of-the-pack team. XSET absolutely dominating the way that they are. That means that XSET have to be at best, or at worst, a middle-of-the-pack team. Now, they're going to be on their back foot because Yaga got taken down. Best player on XSET statistically, and he's out-dueled by Parabellum as Parabellum look to keep this attacker streak alive.
Yep, that was creators the Finger finding success, something that we don't see much of today so far for the Finger players, as you mentioned earlier. And Parabellum, they're good at playing a very slow pace of Rainbow Six Siege when they need to, taking every single second that they need to set up and to execute. We saw that the last round. Now, we're seeing a bit more aggression, a bit more speed from them this time around, droning out Solarium, trying to breach open this wall, but the jammer right now is stopping them from approaching that exact goal. Kino, with the shield inside the small closet inside the master bedroom, can hold this position strong with the SMG-11 and the gadget. The big question mark here is Penguin down below. Will he go for a flank or go straight up the Solarium stairs, helping out his teammate? Remember, there is no player from PB on that big master bedroom window rappel, which means that the defenders can freely run around.
Well, it's a grenade in hand for Penguin. A depth charge, as we call it, and it gets the shield quite effectively in the closet, but there's no player on it. Kino decides to go into avenge the shield, which has just been removed from that spot. Spirit's also prone in the hot tub. Damn, you really don't realize how big that actual jacuzzi hot tub
It's a
is.
huge hot tub.
It's quite large, my friend.
Creators in this big window repel is the key player to make sure that nobody in Master Bedroom wiggles too far left or too far right. It is Kino right now, sitting still on the bomb chassis, but he'll be stuck once Creators takes the angle approach. That means that Kino is going to be all eyes on you. One Toxic Babe left, going out now towards the big Master Bedroom window. Nate goes out, drops down the hatch, actually. But it's Gomez who strikes first.
Oh, and there goes Penguin, but it's a team kill, and now all the bodies are hitting the floor. Wimpy evens us out into a 2v2. Both Parabellum players on lower HP, but Gomez has something to say about this. That could be all she wrote. Unless Creators can find the final 2 kills, retrieving the diffuser and marching into the bomb site. But with 30 seconds to go, you cannot go for a plant. You will get picked apart, or Divir Diaz. You'll just kill him anyway. What a round for XSET, and what a match for XSET. Yeah, they don't get the 7-1, Nick, or they don't get the 7-0, but they do get the 7-1, and they rep the set by obliterating Parabellum.
Very decisive.